Just a quick note for people trying to use the AI and behavior trees in their 2D games. There's a bit of false advertising when it comes to movement in behavior trees. This node here, move directly towards, moves the AI pawn towards specified actor location, blackboard entry, in a straight line without regard to any navigation system. That's a bit of a lie. It doesn't use AI pathing, but it still uses the nav mesh. And this got me stuck for so long. I was struggling with this for days. I was asking questions on several Discords and Reddit and just trying to figure this out. And I couldn't get it to work. And for the longest time, I couldn't get anybody to help me until finally the boss, Suthriel, he came through for me and he let me know that one, everything you do in relation to behavior trees and AI, movement related, uses a nav mesh, even if it says that it doesn't. So whether you're using the move directly towards or the move to task, which is right here, or whether in here you use the simple move to location, all of them do not function unless you're using a nav mesh. Now, okay, fine, you need a nav mesh. What's the big deal? Well, in a 2D game, especially if you're using a sprite map, or sorry, a tile map, your level, your scenery, your ground that you're walking on has 0 depth, or like 1 pixel depth, whatever. And you can't put a nav mesh on that. So the other little tidbit of information that you need, that again, Suthriel came through for me on this one, like a boss, is your collision bounds for your terrain have to be at least 200 units wide, or you don't get a nav. Like, you can put them in nav bounds in your level, but it won't produce a nav mesh unless it's at least 200 wide. So if we take a look at my level here, there is my nav mesh in green. And if I show collisions, there's the collisions for my tile map. And as you can see, they're nice and wide, 200 wide. So the way you do that is for your tile map, you scroll down to the very bottom of its properties and right down here, collision thickness, 200. So if I set this to 150, for example, and I go back in here, nav mesh is gone. And if I run my game, go over here, my AI will just stand there and do nothing. But if we come in here, we set this back to 200. Nav mesh is back. I run my game. And here he comes. All right, so days of struggling, and all it was that simple little fix. Make sure your terrain, whether you're using a tile map or whether you're just like adding in your terrain, like if I threw like a cube in here and I wanted to put that in as terrain, stretch it out, make sure that you stretch out the thickness enough so that it's at least 200 pixels wide so that you can get a nav mesh on it. So whichever way you put your terrain in your 2D games, it has to be 200 pixels wide, and you have to have a nav mesh if you want to use AI and behavior trees to handle your movement. Hope you guys found this helpful. Have a good one.